Hey, travel fam, it's Darian, and welcome back to I Need Travel Therapy. Today, we're going to be joined by Dani Sunga, and we're going to be talking about her home health experience, her experience traveling, and kind of going all over the country. A little bit about Dani. She is a travel PT. She's currently on her 5th travel assignment in Boston. She's originally from New Jersey, and she got her Doctor of Physical Therapy from Rutgers in 2019. Then she went straight into travel therapy, hoping to get out of her comfort zone, meet new people, and try out different settings and travel the country. Since then, she's been lucky enough to do all those things and more. Outside of work, she enjoys hiking, painting, being a foodie, and exploring new cities and towns while taking in all the views. Let's get started with this episode. Hey, Dani, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hi,
Thanks for
how are
having
you?
me.
Yeah.
I'm good. How are you?
Great. I'm excited to chat with you today. All things home health, right?
Yeah.
So just to give everyone kind of an idea on how you got your PT journey started, can you tell us a little bit about where you started and a little bit about you?
Yeah, sure. So I graduated from PT school in May of 2019 from Rutgers in New Jersey, which is where I'm from. And then after that, I took like 2 months off and then went straight into travel therapy. I always knew I wanted to get into travel even before graduating. So I connected with a recruiter, and she connected me with like an amazing facility in Delaware, actually. So not too far from home to start off.
That's awesome.
And then from there, I've just been in travel ever since. So it's been great.
No looking back.
No looking back. No
I love that. You finished school, you're ready to do it. You knew you were going to travel and no questions. I feel like a lot of times people kind of play with that. Like, should I take a perm job or travel? You're like, let's do it.
Yeah, I was ready.
So you said that you've been at some amazing facilities, which is awesome. Can you tell us what settings you've worked in, where your kind of experience is?
So I've pretty much done everything except skilled nursing and peds, pretty much. So I started out inpatient rehab, then went to an outpatient clinic, and then did acute care at a hospital. And then now I'm in home health. Okay.
So some of those settings can be a little bit more challenging to get into, like acute care and home health. I know we're going to talk more about home health later, but did you have a lot of experience in different settings in your clinical rotations, or is there anything you did to kind of set yourself up for getting that varied experience after you graduated?
It mostly came from clinical experiences in school. We had 4 total, and all of them were all in different settings.
Oh, great.
I had a good variety under my belt, like after graduation. So that definitely helped. Yeah. The only one that I didn't have experience in was home health. Okay. So that came later, that experience. Okay. But
no, I mean, that's good to know, because a lot of people I know, like therapists, want to get into maybe acute care, and that can be really challenging. And people don't necessarily always realize that you can go back to your clinical experience and speak to that, and that can help kind of sell you as a candidate for these positions, right? Because at the end of the day, your clinicals are 13 weeks, right? Generally 12 or 13. So it's almost like taking an assignment, except for you have a supervisor. So
exactly. Yeah. And they can't really expect you to have any experience right out of graduating anyways. So there's a lot of facilities that are open to training too. So looking for that early on in your travel therapy career definitely helps.
Yeah, no, that's great. And was that something that was important to you when you were looking for your clinicals, to have that varied experience, or is that something that your school kind of suggested or supported getting, because some people end up having all of their clinicals in one setting, which is great too, right? If that, that's what you want. But was that something you decided, or your school had kind of picked for you?
It was both. They definitely recommended getting a variety.
Great.
But for me, if you ask any of my old classmates, I was very indecisive. I didn't know what I liked, or I would go to one setting and love it, and then go to another setting and love that. And I'm just confused by the end, because I'm which one do I end up at? So that's why one of the main reasons why I went into travel, because I wanted to kind of see all of them in a post-grad setting.
For sure. Okay. And so your acute care experience, where did you get that?
I started my experience in school. I had a clinical. My second clinical was at a hospital.
Okay. And then once you had your first travel assignment in acute care, where was that located?
That one was in LA, actually, in California.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was great. And you were working there during the COVID pandemic, right? What was that like?
Yeah. Oh, wow. Well, I'm sure like everyone's in healthcare, it was obviously hectic. I actually went to California for a contract the January before COVID hit. So I had like maybe like 2 to 3 months before everything shut down. So I was working at one of the main hospitals in LA, which I was lucky enough to get actually because they were amazing. Like all the therapists, they were super helpful, supportive, and passionate about PT. So it was very like eye-opening for me, really great like learning experience. So then when COVID hit, I was thankful to be in like that facility because they are very into like the top, I guess, like, I don't know how to put it, like the way they like provide care. It's like they want to be like very evidence-based and they want to like do the right thing. So we had a lot of like in services, even though COVID was just happening like currently, they would really want to try to provide the best care and like evidence-based, even though there wasn't a lot of evidence yet, but it was a really good learning opportunity.
Yeah, I bet. And like, I've talked to people that have been in, I guess, some bigger cities, but LA is a big city. So that must have been kind of crazy, right? Like being there and you're still like kind of a fairly new grad at that point, right?
For sure. It was definitely overwhelming at times, but like I said, the PTs that worked there, they were very into like teaching and shadowing. So if I had any questions or if I wasn't comfortable with a patient, they would be so open to like talking about it and helping me. So
yeah, for sure.
That helped a lot.
Is there anything you kind of took away from that experience as being something that like, okay, this was really challenging and really tough, but I feel like I learned this from that?
Yeah, definitely. It taught me to be like on my toes a lot and like, just like ready for change, especially with COVID, like protocols were changing every day. Like you'd come in one day and then tomorrow something would be added, like in terms of like PPE or like how the day starts and stuff like that. So it taught me to really be flexible and go with the flow, honestly. Just and like travel in general, doing travel, it's really like made me a more like flexible, open to different possibilities kind of person.
That's awesome. And especially, doing it, traveling while COVID, right? It's like double whammy of flexibility. Oh
my gosh. Yeah.
I love it.
It was crazy.
So at this point, you've had experience in, pretty much the main different settings that are available. You said not skilled nursing and not pediatrics, but everything else. Is there a setting that's been your favorite so far?
Definitely home health.
Home health. Okay.
Yeah. Which is where I'm at right now.
Okay. Excellent. Because we're going to be talking all about home health today.
Oh, great.
So I'm glad you didn't say something else that would have been weird, right?
Yeah, that would have been awkward.
Okay.
No, definitely home health.
So what is it about home health that you love so much?
I love the flexibility, number one. Like I can decide my schedule if I want to start at like 9 versus at 11 and then end my day later versus earlier. It's like all on me. And then I love just the aspect of going into the patient's homes and providing care versus at a facility. I've just learned that they're more trusting and open to like receiving care, and you can definitely specify your goals and your treatment sessions towards their goals because they're they're in their own homes, and you can see like what their setup is and what their hobbies are, like, and really focus your sessions on that. So it's very like individual and specific, which I like.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, it's really interesting, and I'm excited to chat with you more about this because we've had guests in the past, males that we've talked to, that have talked about home health. And I think that having a female's perspective here, like going into different homes and like how you feel comfortable doing that. There's a lot of girls that do home health. So I'm not saying it's just guys by any means, but being able to hear your perspective and like feeling comfortable and everything, I think is really important. So I guess just to kind of like start off talking about home health, it's a setting that a lot of people want to get experience in, but if you don't have previous experience, it's kind of that double-edged sword, right? Like if you don't have the experience, it's hard to get the experience.
Totally.
And how do you get it if you don't have it? Like all of that, right? So that was one setting you said you didn't have in your clinicals. So can you tell us about how you got your first experience in home health?
Yeah. So I was, it was last summer. So I was actually in New Jersey, in my hometown, and I actually needed to start looking into a contract. Especially during COVID, it was hard to get those contracts. So I was looking into maybe finding one of those rare travel contracts, being flexible with location versus trying to find like a PRN job close by. I ended up being lucky to find this home health small company in my hometown where they were willing to take me on, even though I didn't have any experience. So I was like, this is perfect. I'll learn some home health things and it'll look great on my resume to once I like want to find a home health travel contract. So I did that for like not even a whole month, maybe like a couple of weeks, but that was like enough to, once I was looking for a travel contract, to be like, hey, like I can put this on my resume now and talk about it in interviews and say like, I actually used this documentation, which is one of the main ones that a lot of home health facilities use. I did a lot of like start of cares or evaluations. So that looked good. Like, even though it was a short amount of time, they were like, that's fine. We need someone. So like, at least you have some experience. So I would say like any kind of PRN short-term home health job that you can get is like perfect.
Yeah. And so that was a PRN position?
Yeah.
It was? Okay. It's so smart because it's so true. It's funny, like even facilities or clients that want a year of home health experience, right? Some are sticklers about it, but a lot of them, if you say like, well, this person has this much home health experience, like even the, a couple weeks, like you said, makes a huge difference because you can sell on those couple weeks,
you can, it
but when
really
you
makes
have
the difference.
none, it's hard too. So like you did it in such a smart way. So
it worked.
That's a great suggestion for people that want to do home health, even if you're on a travel contract, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Most travel companies, as long as the PRN position doesn't like interact or negatively impact your travel contract, you can still do PRN on the side. So like, even if you're wanting to get that experience doing it on the side, it'll make it much easier to get those, those positions.
Yeah, for sure.
There's something about the documentation system. It seems like too, like clients want like, is it Oasis is like the big one, or Home Care, Home Base, like a couple of different bigger ones. And so they're like,
as long as you've like seen it, like I feel like they're like, oh, okay, that's fine.
Right? Okay. So we're on the same page there.
Yeah.
As long as you have a little bit. Yeah. Okay. So you got this experience through PRN, and then you were still looking kind of for travel contracts, it sounds like. Was your next assignment then in a home health assignment?
Yeah. So after that PRN job, my recruiter at the time found a home health job or a home health travel contract in Jersey City, which was about like an hour and a half from my hometown. Okay. So that like worked out because I still wanted to kind of be close to home. COVID was still going on. So that was like perfect. So then that was my first travel contract in home health.
Yeah. Okay. cool. So that came pretty quickly after your PRN experience?
Yeah. Another like lucky. Yeah. That worked out perfectly.
Well, part of it's luck, right? Because
really is.
With COVID, it was crazy. Part of it's luck, but you were also really smart and like proactively finding your PRN job, right? Because then you have that to go off of.
Right.
So I know we touched base on this a little bit about your experience practicing in bigger cities like LA, and now you're doing home health in Jersey City, right? And so what's that like being in such, kind of an urban area, right?
Yeah,
working there.
For sure. Especially being from Jersey, like I knew like Jersey City was very urban and very diverse, very city. So like that's definitely different from LA kind of, because I was in a hospital. I didn't have to like drive around to different houses. So at first I was a little wary and kind of hesitant to take it, just because I've never had like really a lot of experience in home health, and then doing it in like this city, I was a little scared. But after like the first month, I like fell in love with it. It was like it exceeded my expectations, honestly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What parts of it do you feel like kind of you were worried about, and then what parts of it kind of exceeded your expectations?
I was worried just being in like not so great areas, safety, obviously, and then also not having that like strong home health experience. Yeah. Too, like just the flow of like a home health treatment session wasn't really like that comfortable with it, but I was lucky enough again to have a really good support system. They let me have like a whole week of onboarding and shadowing with a very experienced physical therapist. So that helped a lot. He gave me a lot of pointers. And then things that I loved about it was just one being, even though it's a city, like a lot of my patients would be within like a 5-mile radius. So I could like walk from where I ended up getting housing. Some of my patients, I could just walk a couple blocks.
That's awesome.
It was really nice. Because also parking was a not so great thing, because I ended up getting a bunch of tickets, but and like parallel parking wasn't fun. That wasn't great.
I'm a terrible parallel parker. Let me just say.
Me too. And I thought that this contract would make me like so good at it. Yeah. But I'm still not that great, I don't think.
Oh my gosh. I like need somebody to get out and be like, okay, you can back up. It's bad.
I've definitely gotten better,
in it out. Okay, so you feel like overall your experience was much better than what you expected. Do you ever feel like you were in any situations where you felt really uncomfortable? Because again, I know that that's a fear of not just like women in general, it's just men too get nervous about it, right? And so is there any times when you felt uncomfortable, and like how did you kind of overcome that situation?
Yeah. So some of the areas that they had me in weren't like so great. I would try to schedule a lot of those patients in the mornings versus like late in the afternoons. And then in terms of going into people's houses, I honestly never really found myself like feeling super unsafe. Like, it's just like they're people just needing therapy. Like, it wasn't like anything that like I needed to like call someone or like leave right away. Sometimes there would be like some conversations that are just inappropriate or like inappropriate comments, but I kind of just learned to redirect them to like the therapy that we're doing. Instead of like making a big deal out of it, you just kind of like learn to do that. But yeah, nothing really, really crazy. The physical therapist who I was shadowing with, he actually gave me a good pointer to purchase this, like, it's like a little compact stool that like compresses into like, it kind of looks like a umbrella once it's like compressed. So like, he's like, yeah, like it's great to like bring to patients' homes and you can use it if like the house isn't that sanitary or anything, you can like put your bag on top of it. And then he was like, or you can like, knock on wood, like if you ever need like a weapon or something, like if you find yourself like uncomfortable,
you have this stool.
Okay. Yeah. I was like, okay, I'll do that, but never had to use it.
Yeah. No, I think it's really good for people to hear because again, unless you've had experience, some people can build it up in their head as being this like big scary thing or that it's going to be uncomfortable. But like from my conversations that I've had for people that have done home health, it's similar to your experience where they know that you're coming in to help them and they're glad that you're coming in and their family's glad. And it's not like this, you're not coming in to do something bad. They don't want you there. It's like, okay, they're welcoming to you because of that, which is, I think is really important for people to remember,
For sure. I feel like after having that contract, it's made me realize like, you can't really, like judge like the patient based on like the face sheet or the chart. Like they're just so welcoming and like thankful just to have you there. And like, it's even taught me to just be appreciative of, just like diversity and like, honestly, like humankind in general, like, especially with everything going on last year, it was nice to just like take a break from all the news and everything and just go into a patient's home and like just talk to them, treat them and listen to them, learn from each other. And like all of these patients have like different backgrounds, cultures. And it was really nice to just like sit down with someone and like, talk. And
like you were saying before, it kind of like gives you the opportunity to make more of an impactful experience than even someone coming into like an outpatient facility. You get to meet them at their house on their level. And I feel like the stuff that you can teach them while being in their home is almost more usable sometimes, right? Yeah. Because you're in their house, they can actually like utilize what you're giving them. Sometimes when you go into outpatient facility, it feels daunting because they have equipment and things like that where we go home, it's hard to transition that sometimes. So I think, it helps with patient outcomes, I'd say.
For sure. I totally agree. Like I saw that versus my previous contracts, like in the home, they're more trusting of you and they open up to you. And I definitely feel like I also have a lot more time with them versus like an outpatient or acute care. Like there's no other really distractions. So you get to just really listen and talk to them. And they're very thankful for that because sometimes a lot of the times, even like these patients don't really get that one-on-one time a lot. Yeah. So, just by us coming into their homes, it's very eye-opening for a lot of them. Like, oh, like they really care and things like that. So it allows me to be like an advocate for them and kind of tell them like, okay, like you can trust me. Like, oh, I'm going to help you. Like it was really nice.
That's awesome. I love to hear that. It's always so great to hear too from you guys and like how much you really do care about your patients, right? Like it's important for people to know that you guys are doing this and you get to travel and make a lifestyle out of it, but you're also like making a big impact in these locations that you go to, which is so cool.
Right. It's definitely like after kind of reflecting for this podcast, like it makes me realize that like not just traveling and having this like cool job lifestyle, but I'm still like working and making a difference.
And you're making a positive impact everywhere you go, which is so great.
We try.
Okay, so you went to Jersey City, you did home health, and now you're in Boston doing home health?
Yes.
Okay, so can you tell us a little bit about that? First off, I've been to Boston many times and driving there is like kind of crazy. So, because they're built on like a wagon wheel, right? It's not like a normal grid.
No. So there's like, they call it rotaries here, not like roundabouts. Like a rotary, like a roundabout road.
Okay.
They have that everywhere. And a lot of the times there's just traffic at them because people here don't really know how to merge. I don't know. Or like, it's just like very chaotic a lot of times. And I didn't realize there's a lot of traffic out here. It's like, I feel like I'm in LA again. Like there's always traffic. It's crazy.
Yeah. Overall, how's your experience been different from Jersey City to Boston? Has it been pretty similar or?
Different just because they have me covering mostly the suburbs of Boston, not really so much in the city, which is nice. Yeah. So I don't have to worry about parallel parking and parking tickets and things like that. But it's nice to be in like neighborhoods and being able to treat in like larger spaces most of the time.
Yeah. Does the lifestyle in Boston seem quite a bit different with COVID and everything going on, or is it kind of normalized at this point?
It's definitely normalized more, definitely towards like the beginning and mid-summer once the vaccine came out and everything. But I feel like now there's more precaution again, just like everywhere else, I feel like. But in the summer, it was really fun to be here. Just because after everything last year, like it was nice to be in a city where I can just go out and the restaurants are open and there's a lot of people out. It was nice.
You get to like meet new people and make new friends again, which is nice.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I
know. Do you have any like favorite experiences that you've had in Boston so far?
It's just been a great summer, but I feel like just immersing myself in like the Boston things. Like I went to my first Fenway game like last month, and I'm not super into like baseball really, but just like the environment and the vibes, it was really fun.
Yeah. I feel like you have to do that if you spend time in Boston. It's just like one of those things. Yeah. What do they call it? The green wall. Oh. I'm embarrassed that I don't know it. Okay, if you don't know it either, then nobody judge us.
I know.
We're sorry.
Oh my gosh. Someone told me
we'll worry about it later.
Yeah. But yeah, just like doing like all the touristy things.
For sure. Have you gotten to spend any time out on Cape Cod?
Not really, which I'm really sad about because I feel like because I'm up here, I've done like a lot of the beaches around here, like north of Boston, south of Boston. And then everyone has just been telling me like the traffic is like horrible over there. It's so crowded. So I was thinking of I wanted to do more like the off season. So I'm trying to plan a trip down there like in the next couple of weeks, even though it's not as hot out, but I heard it's nicer because it's not as hectic and busy. Yeah.
Yeah. Drive the whole thing all the way down to, was it Provincetown, P-Town, I think is what they call it. Yeah.
I know. That's on my list. Hopefully I can do that.
Anyone who visits Boston should go check out Cape Cod. I just think it's so pretty. And it's beautiful. That'll be fun for you to go check out.
For sure.
So I guess before we kind of transition, is there anything else about home health that you think that people that, want to get into it but don't have the experience should know?
I feel like definitely everyone says documentation, but it's really not that bad. Like, if you compare it to like the flexibility and like I feel like it's a lot less stressful in home health because you're not in a facility and you don't really, you have to answer to people, but like, it's like you're on your own kind of, and it's not as bad as people make it out to seem, I feel like. And just like, even just the little breaks in between, like I get to like go in my car, listen to a podcast, listen to some music in between each patient. I feel like by the end of the day, once I'm done, like at home and I can, like I have like documentation to do, I don't feel like burnt out or like as tired really, because I got all like my patient care done in the morning. And then I can like go to the gym and then come home and then do documentation, like while just like lounging around eating dinner or something. Like, I don't know. It's like the flexibility is really cool. For some people that like want that, or like who are feeling like burnt out at like a facility or like just need a change of pace or something, like I highly recommend.
Yeah. No, it's a great suggestion for people that, because being at like a, nursing home or something like that, where your productivity is 90%, you're expected to like go.
Yeah.
Obviously in home health, you're working hard too. Don't get me wrong. But like you said, those little breaks to kind of have like time to yourself in between is huge, I think, for people's like, mental health and clarity throughout the day and all of that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So looking back to kind of all of your travel experience thus far, I know you've done a few different assignments. Is there any kind of like specific, unique experiences that you've had that have really stuck out to you?
Definitely because of travel, to go out to California for that LA contract. I was in between like flying versus taking a road trip. And I'm so happy that I decided to do the road trip out there from New Jersey. I went with one of my old college roommates and it was so fun. We made like a 9-day trip out of it.
So cool.
Going down to like New Orleans, which was so fun. And then across through Texas and then to Albuquerque and then Sedona and then to California. It was just like an amazing trip. And I hope to like do another road trip like that again.
For sure. So wait, you drove out there. Did you have to drive back too?
No, it was very hectic because with COVID and everything, because I actually flew back to New Jersey.
You did? Okay.
Yeah. And then had my car shipped back.
Okay. That makes sense. With COVID, I totally get that. You're just like, at that point, you want to kind of just get from point A to point B.
Yeah, exactly.
Those road trips across the country, though, like, I don't think anything beats them. I have had a lot of experiences doing that, and it's just like, you get to see so much, I
know, and it makes
when you just fly from point A to point B, it's a little bit different. You miss all the in between, and there's like, beautiful farmland or whatever, that, all the stuff you miss. So,
like the little, not even like the touristy things. Like one time I remember on our road trip, we saw a sign in like Mississippi, I think. We were on our way to New Orleans and it was like a crocodile sanctuary or something. And it was like, turn here. And we were like, should we do it? And we were like, yeah, why not? So we turned in and it was like,
yes.
Yeah, always say yes. Always do it. And then it was just this crocodile farm, I guess. And they had like a boat that took us out into the swamps and you could see like crocodiles and stuff, but it was
That's
fun.
So fun though.
But, like if you flew, you would never like see things like that.
Right? And you would never got to meet the crocodiles. I still get crocodiles and alligators mixed up. I'm sorry, but
Me
I do.
Too. I'm kind of like don't remember if it was crocodiles or alligators now that I'm thinking about it.
It's fine.
I think it was crocodiles.
We'll come back to that. Okay. And is there anything else, I guess, that kind of surprised you along your drive? Was there any locations that you like ended up falling in love with that you wouldn't have normally have stopped or went to?
I really liked Sedona. Well, I kind of expected I would really like it just from all the pictures that everyone has of it. Yeah. But the Red Rocks over there, we ended up going up to the Grand Canyon and then exploring that area. But just that, like Arizona in general, I really want to hopefully take a contract out there in the future.
Yeah. I haven't spent much time out there either. I've been there before, but pictures and stuff, I feel like it just screams like, come visit me,
Yeah, I know. Hopefully.
That's awesome. Okay. I've heard good things about Sedona specifically too. So before we go, is there any other piece of advice you'd give to travel therapists that are interested in pursuing a travel therapy career, but kind of are unsure?
I would say if you're thinking about it, just go for it. I feel like with everything, I know it's easier said than done, but like, if you're thinking about it, like there's gotta be a reason why. And like, you'll never know unless you try. And even though travel therapy, there's a lot of like unknowns and like changes in plans happens all the time. But I feel like it just leads you to new possibilities. new people. It's just great.
Yeah.
Obviously,
just do
I'm biased,
it, you guys.
but yeah.
I feel like that's always the advice. It's just like you just got to jump in. If you're
Right.
thinking about it, just do it. So
I
guys,
know,
just
like
do
I
it.
can list off all the great things about it, but
Yeah. You won't know until you try.
exactly.
Anyway, thank you, Dani, so much for coming on and sharing all of your experiences with us and your knowledge, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. It's been fun.
Yeah, so fun. And if you think of what that green wall is, email me, okay? I need to know.
I will.
I'm going to look it up after
It'll
this.
come to me like later tonight.
All right, we'll talk to you later. Bye.
All right, bye.
And that brings us to the end of the show. Thanks for tuning in to I Need Travel Therapy. To learn more about today's episode, make sure to explore the show notes at medtravelers.com/I Need Travel Therapy. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a guest. If you're a therapist interested in traveling, visit medtravelers.com to explore nationwide travel therapy job offerings and to learn about the amazing benefits that MedTravelers has to offer. Also, a very special thanks to producer Jonathan Cary, assistant producers Katie Schrauben and Sam MacKay, and Aidan Dykes for the music and editing. See you next time, Travel Fam.